When Battlefield 1 was first announced, I thought, oh great, we're dipping back into the first-person shooter well. However, as I started playing through Battlefield 1, I realized that it's been way too long since I've held a virtual musket. Although the First World War was one of the worst wars in human history, having over 38 million casualties, I was happy to be in the trenches once more. Speaking of the First World War, it was a surprise to see Battlefield taking on such a heavy topic. World War I sticks out in human history as a black smudge, something that was just downright awful. And Battlefield's single-player campaign gets so close to hitting the overall mood of the First World War. The introductory mission is a great example of Battlefield 1 doing it right, killing off the soldiers you control and respawning you as different soldiers. The way they unceremoniously kill off your characters is impactful and demonstrates the full brutality of the First World War. You're not expected to survive, and the game enforces that idea. Unfortunately, the game then backpedals on this idea entirely, and the 5 different storylines expect to take on encampments full of soldiers entirely on your own, Ramboing your way through hordes of AI who all happen to be dumb as rocks. All of a sudden, the fragility the first mission introduced was lost. The actual story and cutscenes in each of these plots still highlight the brutalities of the First World War, however, once you're given control, you're immediately a one-man army. Ultimately, the campaign serves as a tutorial for the multiplayer, and lacks the story beats and set pieces you'd come to expect from AAA first-person shooter narratives. It's not a bad single-player option, and it is definitely better than Battlefield's other attempts at a campaign, but I wouldn't recommend getting Battlefield 1 just for its story. The meat of Battlefield 1 is its multiplayer, and is probably the reason why most people come to the game. Featuring a few different game modes, Battlefield 1 still includes fan favorites like Conquest and Domination. New to the series, however, is the Operations game mode, which involves one team sending waves of attackers to take over territories which another team must defend. This mode is an emotional roller coaster. Each attacking wave feels valiant, but at the same time hopeless. As you watch your friendlies get blown to smithereens, it's really hard not to lose morale. However, after your team pushes through with just sheer numbers, it's easy to get riled up. Defending against these waves offers a similar feeling as you're lying prone deep in your trenches fighting tooth and nail to keep these invaders away. From a gameplay standpoint, Battlefield 1 still does a great job at making every player feel useful. Even if you haven't gone to kill all match, as long as you're marking enemies and taking control points, you're helping the team. The gunplay feels smooth, however the older generation of guns are less accurate and reliable than modern weapons. This in turn requires players to get up close and personal with their adversaries, forcing people out of their hidey holes and creating a more action-packed style of gameplay. Vehicles are harder to come by, and the force of a single tank can shift the tide of battle. Unlike previous games where every player is armed to the teeth with explosives, Battlefield 1 forces teams to rally their men against these metal monstrosities. Going back to the overall atmosphere of the game, the multiplayer mimics the terrifying dizziness of warfare thanks to the sound design and graphical presentation. The constant shouting from your fellow soldiers and the thumps created by nearby explosions lets you know that there is danger all around you, and the actual explosions look dreadfully real. Even on the PlayStation 4, Battlefield 1 boasts impressive graphical design and is easily one of the better looking games of the year. My favorite part of the sound design is when you're on the last leg of an attack in the operations mode, and as your numbers start to dwindle, the orchestrated music rises and surges through your last moments of glory. After the novelty of the setting wears off, it's clear to see Battlefield 1 is still a Battlefield game. You can customize your loadout, this time with their virtual currency, war bonds. You can get into a plane and immediately realize that you don't know how to fly a plane. There are campers, angry teenagers, and teabaggers, but the changes that they have made have been positive, and the step back into the First World War feels well thought out and immaculately crafted. The campaign was a letdown, however it serves a small role in a game that does a lot right. Battlefield 1 gets 4 Clio torches out of 5, displaying the horrors of the First World War and the even greater horrors of voice chat.